Let's keep it moving. Who's next
All right.
on your board?
So, and Rob mentioned it earlier, like, can you help the team win, right? Like, that is something I've been trying to workshop. I've been trying to figure out how to write about. Like, is winning a skill? Because there are certain guys that they just win a lot. You know what I mean? Like, they bring, whether it's winning intangibles, like, they're just guys that you see who just contribute. Maybe they bounce from team to team, but they're always on winning teams. Ochai Agbaji, he might not be the sexiest pick for the New York Knicks. He's a little older, right? But this dude is a winner. He's a winner. He's 6'6", 6'7", with a long wingspan, can jump out of the damn gym, can knock down threes, off movement, off the catch, developing on the ball game. And I've personally seen him light the Garden on fire against Michigan State to open the college season. And the conversation around it, like, he's being underrated. Like, I monitor at No Ceilings. I monitor the draft stock of players from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. And his draft stock went down somehow on mainstream boards after he won a national championship with Kansas. So he's being undervalued. This is a guy who's won like 120 college games throughout his career. He represents all of the things you want out of your modern NBA wing. He's a guy that fits alongside your building block and RJ Barrett. And I just love what he brings. I think he has that winning intangible, that winning skill set, that he reminds me of Mikal Bridges. Like, in that draft, Mikal Bridges was my guy. And I was disappointed for the Bulls, like, they drafted Wendell Carter over him. The Knicks took Kevin Knox. And it's like, it's so obvious that Mikal Bridges is going to be a great NBA player. To me, that's Ochai Agbaji. He might not have the quote unquote superstar upside as some of these other guys behind him, but I bet you he's going to be playing in the league longer than most of them. So to me, he's a guy that I think would get minutes his rookie year. Not a ton, because again, he's a rookie and he's got to earn them. He's got to learn the game too. But he's a guy that could fit next to all of the wings. He represents what I mentioned earlier, and guys that could play up and down. I'm a massive Ochai Agbaji fan.
Okay, this is somebody I really don't know much about, under the radar for me. Looking at him, 18 points a game, 5 rebounds, 1.6 assists, 40% from 3. I figure when you say you can play against next to anybody, I'm like, oh, he can shoot 3. That's, to me, that's cool. He can play next to anybody. Oh, he can shoot. Cool.
Yeah. And I bet when he comes into the game, you see a little like horn set action that Tibbs used to run for Jimmy Butler to get him alley-oops, like the same off ball. Like, this dude is a lob threat as a wing. Like, he's got some legit bounce off the ball. Yeah.
So why is he projected to be, because what is his draft stock saying right now? Like, he's projected to be like in his 20s or something like that?
No, he's like a borderline lottery guy. He got invited to the green room, so there's a chance he goes in the lottery. But he's being slept on because he's a senior. It's just straight up because he's a little older, and it's the same conversation like last year. Davion Mitchell, and granted, Davion went top 10 last year, so it's not like the NBA was sleeping on him. But the dialogue and the discourse on like draft Twitter, the draft interwebs, was that like, well, why would you take Davion Mitchell when you could take Jaden Springer? Jaden Springer's younger.
Right.
And it's like, all right, but Jaden Springer is not that good at basketball yet. Like,
right. So you
like,
still gotta wait.
Don't you want guys who are good at basketball? And Davion led the team to a national title, and not by himself. That was a really good Baylor team, but like, these are guys that consistently get undervalued. Cam Johnson, everybody, went after the Suns when they drafted him too early. Mikal Bridges went way too late. These guys, they just get undervalued because they're not sexy picks, but sometimes there's beauty in simplicity of their games. And I think that Ochai is one of these guys.
Okay. All right. Defensively, what are we looking at? So you're saying he's long, he's athletic. So I'm guessing
he defends. So he defends, man. He could defend multiple positions. He moves his feet. He's strong as hell. Like, he's long. He could switch out on the perimeter to, he could probably guard some small ball fours. I think he's going to be a plus defender. Like, look, you very rarely get a guy who's the main guy on a team, right? Who is winning an NCAA title, who's not going to be at least pretty good defensively. So,
right.
He's not like a generational defender, but he is a guy who does defend.
That's all we need. And shot creation upside? Is he strictly raw? Is he strictly role player, three and D type of person who can take it to the hole and shoot threes, or does he have any shot creation, ISO ability, any of those things?
I mean, I think that's ways away if he develops it. I would probably say he's not going to be a guy who develops into that type of player. But he's shown such growth in his game throughout his college career that you also don't want to cap what that means for a player. Guys who get better every year, it's not like he stagnated as a college player. He got better every year. And the growth that he showed in that lead role this year, I think was pretty impressive. So I don't think that he's a guy that you're going to rely on one day to get you 25, but he is a guy that I think, could average 18, 19 points a game playing off, a number one option down the line.
And that's solid. That's one of those solid picks where if you look years down the line and say, okay, this year we picked Obi, this year we picked Grimes, this year we picked quickly, and then you look around, now you're looking at our depth, and we have 4 or 5 or 6 guys who can all play defense, all shoot threes, and that's one of those picks where it's going to look good for us in the long term, especially if you decide, we need to make a move, and if we do make a move in the future for somebody, we have somebody else we can plug right in who's not going to be that far off. So I can see that. I can see that happening. I see Tankathon has him at 17 as well. Anything to add to that, guys? What do you think about that pick?
I love Ochai Agbaji. I love that guy, man. The defense, of course, he won me with that. I mean, I didn't even really look at his offense until later, but the defense, the way he can play perimeter defense and the way he loses his length, his lateral movement, his way he moves his hip, and then he can hit an open jump shot. I mean, he's really good hitting an open three. So I love this kid. I got him about 5th on my depth for the Knicks. But and so I would not be unhappy if we drafted him at all. I can see him. He's another guy. Again, I'm assuming an Evan Fournier trade. I'm seeing Grimes as a starter, and I would love to have a guy like Agbaji coming in behind him, on that Mob Deep squad, because I think, and not only that, what I like about him, he's a 4-year player, and he's one of those guys that you root for because you see how hard, you could just tell he put the work in, and is playing out on the court. And I know that Tibbs will love a guy like that because he's going to come in, he's not going to complain, he's going to put his head down, he's going to work really hard. And I believe that he's talented enough to get in the rotation and get some minutes as a rookie because, he's also being 22. I'm expecting a certain level of maturity. So, some off-court stuff won't bother him as much. So I'm really high on him. I love Ochai Agbaji. I really, like I said, I got him 5th on my overall board for the Knicks. But if we drafted him, I would not. It would be a successful night to me if we got him.
Sounded great to me, man. I like this. This is like one of those safe kind of floor bets. Play defense, 2-way player. Sign me up. Sign me up. I'm with it. And
he's not an off the dribble guy that much right now, but I don't want to limit and say he'll never be.
Right.
But he can really play perimeter defense. You will not see guys from the G League on somebody's NBA team getting through the middle of the court with that guy on the floor. Not going to happen. Yeah. So
and we need that. We need long wings to defend like the other guy's best player. And you know what? It could be Grimes too, but he has the physical. It seems like this guy has more of the physical tools to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ryan. I want to say something.
No, I was just saying that I like this game too. Like I saw a few of his games at Kansas, and he really stood out to me on that Kansas team. The only reason I wasn't really looking at him like that was because I knew the Knicks were picking 11, and I knew that more likely he was going to be picked later than 11. And there were picks, around, where the Knicks are drafting, where these players would probably have a bit more upside than him. So I never really looked towards him. But yeah, if the Knicks were drafting later in the draft, he would be one of the first guys I would be looking towards because he can shoot the rock, he can defend, good physical body and all that. So, I definitely do like Ochai's game. Is just that where the Knicks are drafting, that's why I never really looked at him because I know that he's projected to be drafted later.
Okay, all right. All good points. Shout out to Robert Paris who sends a $4.99 super chat. Done shouts out for you. who says if Tibbs is coach, draft someone who will make rotation defense is a must unless it's Ivy. Yeah, I mean, like this, our culture isn't such that we've been only drafting defensive guys for the most part, with the exception of maybe Obi. So, during going this late during the draft, if you decide to stay at 11, I don't expect really anything less. So I feel like just going by our reputation, we're gonna draft a defensive guy. I just feel that unless we trade up for Ivy. Have some miracle. If that happens, then Lord, where's the parade? All right. Depending on who we give up. But all right, who do you have next on your board, Corey?